everyone. The next book in our Bookmas countdown to Christmas in 2023 is this one right here called Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. Now you guys can see this tree hasn't been decorated yet. I wonder if you guys have got your trees up already. I know we do here at the classroom. We did it quite early back in November, but you know, there's no right or wrong on when you want to do it. So Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree. He looks quite amazed by it. Look how tall it is. Let's find out what happens. Oh! Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree came by special delivery. Full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He reached downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. He's very excited. Special delivery. A magnificent tree. Splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. Their plant is dropping. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willowby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. Oh, good heavens, he gasped. Something must go. Oh my goodness, they're cutting off the top of the tree. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willowby cried with glee. He's happy now. Now we can start to trim my tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know who'd be just delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adelaide, Mr. Willowby's upstairs maid. She's got a little baby, tiny Christmas tree. Will this tree be a pretty sight when I've trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid it will have to be cut, sighed Miss Adelaide. So this part is too tall for her as well. And so she's cut it off. With scissors, sharp and long, she snipped off the top while she hummed the song. The top was set out the very next day in the back of the house to be thrown away. But that little tree top caught the eye of Tim, the gardener, as he was passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. So he hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. And his wife. Surprise, surprise. His wife could not believe her eyes. It was our house, she said. It's so snug and small. I do not believe that we need it all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut off the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was padding by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, I've got a present for you. And now the bears have a little tree too. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. Oh, sleepy. But Little Bear, standing off afar, cried out, that tree won't hold a star. It's too tall. There's no space for our little star. Barnaby said, let's cut a hunk off of the bottom here at the trunk. But Mama Bear shook her head and sliced off the treetop instead. Jolly golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is just the right trick. Now let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries, tinsel, and popcorn on strings. I've never thought of putting popcorn on a tree. And Mama said, trim it up just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top we won't need anymore. I'll put it outside the door. And I wonder who's going to get it next. Later on the frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the tree top and rubbed his chin, opened his sack and stuffed the top in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. He couldn't even go the normal way. He jumped over the gate instead of going through and opening the gate normally. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. And there, my dears, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. And next, Benjamin Rabbit found it, just outside the fox's den. It seems, he thought, most certainly that Santa has left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found. And with that, he called his family around. Then they were a merrymaking, rollicking, carrot shaking, celebration around the tree. And all were as happy as rabbits could be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand with it. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away, the children cried, look, it's leaning off to one side. Again, it's too tall. It's too tall, that's all, said Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw away the top. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that tiny tip of a Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice. Up some stairs, he fell down twice. At last he reached his cozy house. It's just the right size, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. It's only one little bit left. Wasn't it grand to have a tree? Exactly like Mr. Willowby. He was the one who first chopped off the top, and now it's come back to his home. And they're like, oh, tree, just like Mr. Willowby, without realizing it's actually come from Mr. Willowby as well. All right, see you guys in the next Bookmas. Bye-bye.